Hi everyone, it's Ali here and I'm just jumping on today, excuse my arm, to come and show you some backgrounds that I do. Quite a lot of people have been asking me how I create the backgrounds for my projects. So basically I asked if anyone had an interest in seeing how I did them, and I had quite a big response over a few different social media platforms and in a different variety of groups, because what I wanted to do was, backgrounds are, you can make lots and lots of backgrounds out of lots and lots of different mediums. And what I didn't want to do was a video where I was trying to show all those different mediums being used all in the one video and confusing people, and also making it, you know, a 1 to 2 hour long video. What I would like to do is concentrate on a particular medium for each video that I do, whether it be watercolour, acrylic, oxides, whatever it might be, and then intentionally I want to create a project at the end of it so that you can see the background and then you can see the impact that it has on your project. So rather than just seeing a background, which is great, I think it's always nice to create something, have an end project, and you can see how the whole thing comes together and you know how it looks. So I'm going to firstly show you a couple of backgrounds that I've prepped, and I've written on the back of them to say what it is that I've done to create each of these, and then I will pick a medium and I will do a background today, and I will complete it using a IMALA image, because this is going to be a bit of a twofold video. A friend of mine asked me how I coloured in a panda, or created the panda card, and so I said, well, I'll do a little video for you and show you. So this is kind of putting it all together so that everybody can benefit from it and not just the one person. So I'm going to show you a few backgrounds. Excuse me sniffling, I've got a bit of a cold, so I'm not feeling 100%. So anyway, this first one, we've got, you see the golds and the pink metallics there coming through. This one is, I've used Distress Oxides as the base of underneath, the bits that aren't sparkling, if you like. And then what I've done is I've chosen a few colours, smooched them on my glass mat, and then the colours that I have used with these are the Ganza Tambar. So what I've done is I've used the gold to create the gold sections, and I've used the gem colours to pop on the pink, and I've also got pearl colours as well. But again, I'll be going through these throughout the videos and showing you different techniques that you can use with those to create backgrounds. This one, again, what I've done is I've used distress stains, and the first thing that I did with the distress stains was I popped them on the glass mat and I smooched the card through to get the original base layer, if you like. And then I've splattered it. So I've got the Distress ink bottle, splattered it down, which you can do because it's got that top, felt top, if you like, and splattered it down, created these splats, and then dried them off quickly so that it maintained the splat looks. And then I've used Pearlywink spray, which is you can either use their pearl or glitter spray, and I've popped that on there, so you've got that beautiful background there. It's all sparkly, and you can see that one. This one is just, I say it's plain and basic, but plain and basic can be pretty awesome. And what I have done with this is it's a vibrant, very, very vibrant set of inks that I got from Stamps by Me called Gossip Inks, and they come in little bottles. Again, through the series I will get them out and show you everything in the containers, bottles, etc., and how to use them. So what I've done is I've plopped them down with a pipette, sprayed them out with water, and then gone over it actually with the copier paper. So once I've sort of put it down and sprayed it out, I've gone over and done this. So then I've ended up with this gorgeous background as well, which can be used for die cutting, making your flowers, or you can put it in a book and let it flatten out or iron it out and use it as a background for your stamping. So those two kind of work hand in hand because they're what I've created off each other. And then this one is watercolours smooched in the background, and then I've splashed water on them, and Ganzai Tanbai, which is golds, and then I've let that sit, and then some of it I've lifted off, which gives you the gorgeous watermark effects, and then the rest is just that beautiful gold sparkly what's left behind. So that's sort of like 5 backgrounds ready to rock and roll, really, which took me about half an hour last night to put together. So they're really not hard. If I can do it, you can. The only thing that I would suggest is think about your colour combinations. Just look online, look at things around you that have colour in them, and it'll anything colours that are together obviously go together, and pick those colours as your colour, you know, as your palette. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this first demonstration today, and to put something together, I am going to do, I think I'm going to do the Gossip inks. Okay, so with these being watercolour, I'm going to obviously use some watercolour card. Okay, so in true style, I haven't got a sheet out ready. Bear with me 1 second. So I'm using the lovely Carter watercolour card from Stamps by Me, because it gives me the effect that I'm looking for. It gives me the it can take a lot of hammer throwing at it without too much cockling. So just going to grab my, excuse the lights and everything, because they were behind where I'm doing my filming. Right, so these are my set of Gossip watercolour bottles, and they're lovely, gorgeous little bottles, as you can see. They're really sweet, and they're packed full of beautiful colour. Now, these have got a two-way effect to them, because they've actually got a lot of mica in as well. However, you can use them as long as you don't shake them. So you can see the mica there on the bottom, which gives it its glittery essence and its mica essence. But if you don't shake it and just pipette out the ink at the top without actually putting the mica into it, you can have the ink effect without the mica effect. Okay, but once I've done the card, I will shake one so that you can see, and I'll show you the difference. So I'm going to use green, I'm going to use orange, please excuse my sniffing, green, no, that's beautiful blue actually, not green, and the red. So I'm using 3 colours. I want to get a pipette and some water, obviously, because once you've chosen your colours and you put your pipette onto your project, you're going to want to squish out, you know, clean your pipette. Normally I'd have 3, but why have 3 when you can have 1 and just squish it out at the side? So pop that to one side, and I'm going to just grab some copy paper as well. And the first thing I'm going to lay down is the lightest colour. So pop pipette in, okay, and then just pop it. You don't need tons and tons. I'm probably going overboard, to be fair. Okay, and if you wanted to, which is probably a good idea, so we'll go with that, we will splat it and we will dry it in between layers. So with your spray bottle, you spray your ink, okay, and then what I sort of do is, before I put the heat gun to it, I'll just pop down some paper just to take that top off. Okay, so that's dried that top layer off. So I've gone with putting the lightest one down first. Then I'm going to go to my ready colour. And another thing about these is they've got a proper stopper in the top. So you will, unless you forget to put your stopper in, you'll never have a problem with these leaking or anything getting anywhere. And I just play around, just blowing the air through, a bit like using a straw, I guess. So again, like I said, never forget to pop your stopper back in, or you will have problems. So I'm going to get a slurp of my tea. Okay, so then I'm just going to, there we go. I'm just going to spray those again. I'm going to pop that paper on top just to take the initial layer off, and then it's not too long to dry it off. And you get a different thing every time as well, which I think is magical. Okay, so I'm just going to dry this off. Okay, and then to the third and final colour, which is this beautiful peacock blue or teal or okay. So I'm just going to do those couple of splashes because I don't want that taking over. So that's going a beautiful green colour because obviously it's mixing with the yellow, and then where it's mixed with the red, it's kind of going a purpley tinge. So you can, in essence, create your own colours as well, which is fantastic. And the thing as well is that with watercolours, usually your intensity will kind of lose a little bit of that when it's getting dry, but this is, it's just so vibrant, you don't lose masses of intensity, so I wouldn't worry about that. But be aware of that if you don't want a big powwow vibrant background. Okay, so bear with me, I'll just dry this off. Okay, so I'll just take a look at that. I'll just pop my stopper back in there and then practice what I preach, because otherwise it'll be everywhere and that'll be lovely. Now then, so there you've got, and you can see with this as well that with the overspraying of the water, it sprays the droplets out, so you get lots of lovely bits. You know, there's nothing's ever the same, it's always different, and I absolutely love that. One of my favourite things about a background is you don't know what you're going to get, and that's just the joy of it for me. So what I'm going to do with this to create a project, what I will do is I will say that this is done for this first one. It's just a basic one, and I'm going to create a card for you with it, and I'm going to use as I said earlier, a friend of mine wanted to know how to make a panda card, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to, because obviously I'm going to cut it down, so I'm going to be using the background here, and I'm going to pop on my Panda. So a Panda can go anywhere really. And then you can see the beautiful colours through there, so you really don't have too much extra work to do. That's the way I see it. You know, it's done for you. So I'll pop the stamp on there, but before I do that, I'm going to do a little bit of background stamping. And I just want the hint with this of the leaves in the background. So I'm not actually going to stamp it down hard. I'm just going to keep it on this, on its carrier sheet. And this is a technique that I use quite a lot. If you don't want something quite so in your face, just use this technique. So I'm going to pop Panda there. So we'll have some leaves here. Okay. I'm just going to dry those off because again I'm using Distress Oxide and I have used the Lucky Clover. So I'm just going to dry it off because it is a water-based. It's a water-based product, so I don't want to reconstitute it, restart it kind of thing. Can't remember words out today. Reactivate it, that's the word I'm looking for. So just give this a quick blast off as well, bear with. Okay, one other tip that I would definitely share is that up to this point, make sure that any splatting or waterwork you're going to do on the background you have completed, because if I was to start splatting again, it would reactivate this and then we'd just have a muddy mess. So always remember that there is a bit of a system. So all your splashing and sploshing, get that done and down before you start stamping and using things like, you know, creating things like this that you don't want to reactivate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop little Panda on. Okay, and because we've been using waterproof, not mascara, Alicia, because we've been using waterproof ink, I don't know, you need to use your VersaFine, because that is your pigment ink, which is the ink that is used with watercolouring. If you were using your inks, your alcohol inks, you would need to use your Memento. So another thing, what I possibly would do, if you are a beginner and you're just starting out inking, just write those two little bits down, just to remind you. So alcohol ink, you need to use Memento, and watercolour, you need to use VersaFine. They're the two inks that I use predominantly because they are tried and tested and they're the most popular. So that's why I'm mentioning those. There may be other inks that can be used. Well, there are other inks that can be used, but I don't use them. I use the VersaFine and the Memento. Okie dokie. So just going to make sure our little Panda is all nicely. I mean, you don't have to go mad, but pressing down, that's the beauty of the Eureka, of course. But because it's watercolour card and it has a little bit of texture to it, I just try and, you know, press down a little bit more pressure. So it's coming up lovely anyway. So this would be just to make it a little bit more. Definitely can't find my words today. I think I've left them in bed. There we go. And again, as I said, the beauty of this is if you feel you've got areas that you want to enhance a little bit more, just do those areas. And if you've missed them, of course. There we go. He's looking gorgeous, isn't he? So for me, he is amazing. I love him and he's done. And I don't really want to spend ages and ages. If you want to then go on and you know, colour in the leaves, maybe put the flowers a different colour or enhance the yellows and oranges, that's great. You go ahead and do that. But for the purpose of making this video slightly less of a, you know, an epic drama, I'm just going to cut him out and I'm going to pop him onto a card and you can see what he looks like when he's finished. So just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so I've done a matte and layer for him or her, and as you can see, this is an 8x8 card, so it is pretty super big. He is beautiful, isn't he, or she? So all I'm going to do is add a sentiment. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so I've got a stamp to pop on here, and I think this is pretty apt really. It's just a splash of colour to say thank you, because we have used a most wonderful coloured image, and it definitely is colourful. That is no joke. So I'm going to pop this on here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that out of the way, because that's just, I'm going to emboss this, so I'm going to pop on some anti-static. I'm going to grab my, let's have a look, let's go, my Versamark, and then I'm going to do this twice anyway to make sure, because it's the Versamark ink, and I want it to make absolutely sure. Okay, and then just going to grab some copy paper. Okay, oopsie daisy. Put that to one side, and then I'm just going to give it a blast. Bear with me while I just give this a blast. Okay, let's pop the lid on there, because I've got this habit of not putting lids back on. Okay, so there you go, just a splash of colour to say thank you, and then all that's needed now is just to pop it onto a card. I'll grab my glue. I think this is going to be done when it's when I finish this card. Just need a little bit more to there. Yeah, to grab. The only thing sometimes is when you're using your watercolour card, it can cockle a little bit, bend a little bit. Not all the time, just sometimes. See if it's just cockled a little bit there, but it'll be fine because I could put this in a book before I mount it onto a card, but I'm going to just pop it on for today, just for the video. She will do when she gets her glue to work. Okay. I don't think anything woke up with me today, did it? There you go. The other one just needs a pin in it. Let's get it starting again. Okay. Pop that in the middle. And then take a grab. Let's pop this off here. And there you go. A lovely card there for any occasion, just because, to say thank you, anything, and it's nice and bright and colourful, which tends at the moment to be a running theme throughout the crafting world. A lot of busy backgrounds and big bold sketchy stamps, and there you go. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for asking for me to do the demos for you. I absolutely love doing them for you. I'm very happy to do them for you. If there's anything in particular, any stamps that you particularly want me to have a go at, any techniques that you want me to have a go at, just drop me a message and I will sort it out. I will do it, don't worry. I've got a series of these coming out, this being the first. Over the next couple of weeks I'll probably do 1 or 2 a week, so I will sort of do, I'll title it something like mixed media backgrounds or card making backgrounds, and I'll number them 1, 2, 3 and whatever we get up to. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, because you'll get to know every time I bring something out, especially if you click that notification bell as well. And that's probably about it from me. So have a brilliant day, and I'll see you for another technique background very soon. Thank you. Bye.